Hi, Patrick here. Welcome to Dollar Theater. Wow. All right. Um, yeah, glad to be here for this one because we're gonna do something a little different. We tried it once before, and it didn't do as well as I had hoped. But then again, the material might have been a little bit more. I thought there was to be a little bit more reaction to it, but maybe it just didn't appeal to the right audience. I don't know. But I covered the Land of the Lost, all three seasons of the show, and I thought there'd be some interest in that. And maybe I just didn't tag it right, or maybe I'm just haven't done enough shows like that to attract the audience. I don't know. It's always a crapshoot when we do dollar theater reviews. I mean, sometimes they hit, Gothica hit, and then Serving Sarah did not. so, but I thought I'd do something fun, and I wanted to cover the three movies that they made as pilots for a very long running. In fact, it's still on today. After it's in its 18th season, the Murdoch Mysteries. The Murdoch Mysteries is a detective series set in Toronto during the 1890s, and it follows the Detective Murdoch as he William Murdoch as he fights crimes, and he's sort of like a Ichabod Crane in the sense that he uses cutting edge technology. But this is a straightforward procedural show. This isn't fantasy or anything. This is just what life was like during the turn of the century Toronto. Um, Now, what's really interesting is the movies themselves are what we call pilot movies. Basically, when we have this in the United States too, and sometimes what would happen is a movie would be made and run as a pilot. It was just one movie, and they just wanted to see how people would react to it. Would they enjoy it? Would they like it? If they did, sometimes that would they would make a network make it go to series. That means it'd go straight from the pilot movie to onto a series. And many times the first episode of a series would be a 2 hour pilot. The name of the episode would be the pilot. Sometimes it happens where they're not really quite sure, and so sometimes they'll do even two or three movies before it becomes a series. And that's what was the case with the Murdoch Mysteries. The first, and that's why the casting is radically different. We're going to be talking about the first three Murdoch pilot movies that came out in 2004, starring Peter Outerbridge, who looks remarkably like Phil Hartman. He plays Detective William Murdoch. Colm Meaney plays his Lestrade, so to speak, Inspector Brackenreed. Um, of course, we know Colm Meaney from playing Chief O'Brien on Star Trek and Deep Space Nine. Keely Hawes plays Dr. Julia Ogden, who's the women coroner, cutting edge back there. And Murdoch and her sort of have a will they or won't they type of vibe. Uh, and then the other main actress in is Flora Montgomery, and she plays Eddie Weston, who is a lady of the night with a big heart and a lot of talent. She can really sing beautifully, and her and also Detective Murdoch sort of have a will they or won't they type of vibe. So this came in all three pilot movies came in this, and yes, I got this at the library for a quarter, and I already had some Murdoch Mysteries that I've gotten from the library. This was actually came out on not Acorn. I thought this was a Acorn release, or is it? Yes, it is an Acorn release, and they handle a lot of British and Canadian and New Zealand and Australian TV shows. So I love Acorn. Acorn's one of my favorite distributors. I'm always looking for them. I've covered them before here on Dollar Theater when I covered the two collections of Hercule Poirot. So we decided that we're going to cover all three movies, one, two, three, for the next 3 weeks. So you're going to get William Murdoch for the next 3 weeks here in Dollar Theater. The first movie that came out was in 2004 was called Accept the Dying. It's made for TV, but this is Canadian TV, and Canadian TV is a little bit more liberal than American TV is. So there is nudity in Canadian shows, and that's what we get right off the bat. We see a body being dumped, and then in a alleyway, and then we see hands basically taking everything of value from the corpse. They're robbing it of the clothes, everything else, and they leave it naked. And that's where we get our introduction to William Murdoch, or not William Murdoch. Why say that? Uh, Boy, that's just. It is William Murdoch. Okay, I keep on thinking. I'm thinking about Rambo, and I'm like Murdoch. I'm coming for you. Okay, so Detective Murdoch gets on the case, and the girl's about 17 or 16. Can't be much more than that, and she's dead. And so Detective Murdoch goes ahead, and he hits the investigation hard. There's a lot of clues to be found, a lot of suspects to be had too, and so he is trying to find out what happened to this girl who turns out to be pregnant. And so Detective Murdoch is on the case, but of course he gets runs into obstacles, including Inspector Breckenreid. I hope I'm saying that Breckenreid, which sort of fun, sort of this. It's calm meaning, you really like him, but man, he's a bastard in this movie. Telling Murdoch to stop his investigations, not to investigate certain families who we end up finding out is indeed behind the murders. And so it's really frustrating to watch him play such a heavy-handed heel. Like he's this chief, he's an inspector, and you just wonder how the hell did he become an inspector? Because he is not a cop. He's not a good cop at all. It isn't until the very end, and I gotta give Detective Murdoch credit here. I don't think I would have been nearly as peaceful as he was when being told to back off on a murder investigation, especially since the clues lead to that person and telling me not to investigate. Yeah, I probably back then he could get away with something like that. In today's world, not so much. But it's interesting. It was an interesting. It's interesting to watch the relationship between Detective Murdoch and Inspector Brackenreid. Of course, the Dr. Ogden, the coroner, also helps out with the clues, discovering the girl was pregnant, and then we find out that through Eddie Weston is one of the two prostitutes that robbed the clothes off the dead girl, but they didn't do anything, but they robbed the clothes, and so that in itself is sort of heinous in a sense. But these girls are working girls; they're extremely poor. The dead girl has some nice clothes, and so what's really interesting is how they hid the clothes from the cops. They're going like, well, who did that? Who would do that? And then how Detective Murdoch solves that mystery is one for the books. One I've never seen before. I've never seen it before in a show. It's clever. It's clever as hell. Um, of course, we find out that there's various suspects, and he has to track down all the leads. And we also find out too that his wife, his fiance, has died, and that Detective Murdoch throws himself into his work because not only is he a good detective, but he's horribly lonely, and so he wants the human contact, but he's scared of it. He still talks to his fiance when he gets ready in the morning, and he's trying to progress. He's trying to move forward by taking dancing lessons, and so he's attracted to both Dr. Ogden, or Dr. Ogden definitely is attracted to Detective Murdoch, and then Eddie, the lady of the night and the singer, he's also attracted to her, and so it's a formation of a triangle moving forward that would have to be explored. Um, all right, so what did I think of my first episode uh, of the Murdoch Mysteries? The Murdoch Mysteries, of course, it actually was adopted from a novel by novelist Maureen Jennings. It was adopted by Janet McLean. She adopted it for TV from the writer Maureen Jennings. And obviously, has been a massive hit in Canada. Um, as I said, it's going on to its 18th season. But we'll get to that during the last episode. For this episode, we're just going to talk about Except the Dying. I like this. I like this quite a bit, actually. I thought it moved quick. I thought the costumes were excellent. I thought the mystery was very, very good. Um, didn't give it away early. He had plenty of good red herrings. Could have been anyone. It could have been any one of any suspects. And what makes it really good for us is that we don't know any of the actors. I mean, we know Colm Meaney, and we know William B. Davis had a guest spot here. Some of you might remember him from X-Files, but that's been many, 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 many years ago. So people watching it now may have forgotten that at that time he was a pretty big star back then. But as far as the rest of the supporting cast goes, since we don't really know it, and this is a 20-year-old mystery, it makes the mystery all that more potent because we have no idea who did it. None. And I really like that. That's really cool for me because I don't like solving a mystery like right off the bat, like, oh, that she did it. I like being surprised, and in this, I was. Um, yeah, I would recommend this. I'm gonna keep my, I have, like I said, I have some in the back there in my closet, but I don't have them in order. I don't have the seasons in order, and so I'm gonna try to hold on, see if I can put together 4 or 5 seasons in a row, and then I'll start binging on it a little bit. But for next week, though, we will be talking about the Murdoch Mysteries. We'll be talking about there's the title here. Oh, no title. Oh, yes. Poor Tom is Cold. Poor Tom is Cold. So we don't know anything about that, but we're going to find out. All right. Well, thank you for watching this. We will see you next week for the second installment of the Murdoch Mystery pilot films. This is the third time we've done something like this. We did The Land of the Lost, and then we did the MacGyver, two made-for-TV movies as well. So this is our third time trying this, and hopefully it'll be received. hopefully you'll get curious enough to go find out if you can get your copy of this, and you can. This came out in 2004 on DVD. I'm sure you can find this on Amazon or eBay. All right, well, that's it for us. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting the sub button and also drop a comment down below. Comments are vital. Drop a comment down below. I really appreciate that. My good boy Ryan from the Orioles, Ravens, O's fan, he's excellent for dropping comments. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for that, Ryan, and Hobbs as well. Yeah, feel free to drop comments. All right, we'll see you next week for more Dollar Theater. Peace.